These aren't the stories your mother told you. No, these are the other stories.
Today's episode of The Other Stories is The Miner's Door Reanimated, written by Daniel Wilcox and narrated by Justin Fife.
The light of the iridescent doorway danced gently on the boy's face. Somewhere, far off it seemed, he could make out the echoing clang of pickaxe on rock. Regular, rhythmic.
Oi, Sammy, you heard this?
The boy didn't have to look to see Donald's Cheshire cat grin.
Who was that?
Wheezed Samuel, spluttering into the ring of his fist. The folds between his chins looked sore, blotchy, red. Dislodged dust collected and rubbed between the flesh, creating large brown clods that fell periodically. So far, no pearl.
Christoph! Hey, Christoph! Christoph?
Donald's "fucking answer me now" call.
Carter,
the boy replied.
it's Carter.
From around the corner, Donald sniggered. Carter couldn't understand. Donald wouldn't be sniggering if he could only see the beauty of what stood before Carter's unblinking eyes. These kinds of opportunities came around once in a lifetime at best, and that was something exceptionally hard for Carter to digest. He didn't want to repeat the words. They sounded ludicrous even to himself. Yet the wall kept swimming, a rippling vertical pool of ocean blue light framed in brown rock.
Tell Sammy what you just told me,
Donald said, tucked around the corner, his words muffled as he raced around the narrow tunnels. Carter's jaw clenched. If only they would come and see for themselves, they might believe him. They'd have to. Then again, it's easy to hide anything in the twisting tunnels that lay miles beneath the Earth's surface.
I've found something,
he replied, though really he just mumbled. All Sammy heard was, Carter raised a skinny arm to rub the salt sting out of his eyes. Still fresh to the job, it would be a while before his body adjusted to the heat. Dust clung to his esophagus and lungs. Tiny fragments of rock stung the soft skin of his palms. Samuel and Donald, on the other hand, they were thick-skinned, used to the temp, dry as bone.
Huh? What did he say?
He says he's found something. Snigger.
Carter, tell him what you found.
Carter's eyes swam in the miracle, his words filled with wonder.
A portal. Huh? Say it again.
A portal.
A portal?
Donald snorted laughter, a couple of heads turning their way. Carter couldn't understand it. Why wouldn't they just come and see it for themselves? The roar subsided, replaced by Samuel's heavy footsteps. Though Donald may hold sway over Carter, he was a supervisor after all, it took a lot more to dissuade Samuel from a decision that he made. And this decision was to find out if what the boy was saying was true.
Holy...
Samuel froze. Even in the milky half-glow of the portal, Carter could see the wonder written in the button eyes sunken into Samuel's face from uncountable years dwelling near the Earth's core. Digging, always digging.
It's beautiful.
Despite themselves, they moved closer, the gentle buzz of the blue calling to them in siren song. One step closer and the whirring instantly magnified, a vacuum cleaner's roar growing as it crossed into the carpet to lino. Somewhere, in the movement of the liquid surface, there was something barely audible yet altogether distinct. There were voices.
Don, you might want to see this. It's beautiful.
Samuel reached out a bloated finger to feel the hypnotic droplets. The portal, more like a door than any sci-fi portal Carter had ever imagined, reached back, puckering at the point in which Samuel's finger aimed to reach, clinging and quivering with its own ethereal energy. Only an inch away now, quivering. A calloused hand grabbed their collars and threw them onto the hard ground. Small dust mushrooms puffed in front of their faces. Donald now stood silhouetted in the doorway, drinking in the beauty, the edges of the structure impossibly straight against the rough-hewn rock in which it found its moorings. The cerulean hue seemed to shift and transform in an iridescent light show that glittered on the faces of the three, melting into an angry red. It was almost as if it knew it was about to be violated. The clanging of hundreds of other miners carried on, oblivious to the discovery. Donald's discovery, their supervisor's eyes seemed to say as he passed a hungry look to Carter, the boy who hadn't been lying. As Donald turned back to the portal, the voices grew. Through the swirling galaxies that formed the portal's body, he could almost see them. Following the voice of instinct, Donald drove his head forward into the pool and felt a thick, cooling sensation pass over him. Samuel and Carter rose, rushing towards Donald's headless form. Taking a shoulder each, they heaved backwards, dragging him slowly back to their side. His neck returned first, then his ears, until finally his head returned with a satisfying pop.
Shit,
he managed to gasp, somehow managing to appear as though he'd walked through a waterfall, yet was dry as bone. He looked to the others with far-off wonder in his eyes.
Boys, raise the alarms. We've found something big.
Carter gasped and took a step back. Samuel followed suit, both of them withering under the dark, manic glee on Donald's face as his pupils continued to dilate, stretching past his irises until every speck of white was lost.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Other Stories. The Miner's Door was written by Daniel Wilcox, narrated by Justin Fife, produced by Carl Hughes, with music by Fat Frog Studio and Tom Robson, and sound effects provided by freesound.org. The episode illustration was provided by Luke Spooner of Carry On House. Joshua Boucher is our story programmer, and along with Jasmine Arch and his eyeless ones, Mary Pastrano and Cody Czarzasty, he helps to manage our community. And a big thanks to Ben Errington for the ongoing explosion of content he fires out of his social media canon. Daniel Wilcox is an international best-selling author and award-winning podcaster of dark fiction. He's an author coach, founder and CEO of Activated Authors, one quarter of this digital story studio, Hawk and Cleaver, and co-founder of this podcast, The Other Stories. And he's also the CEO of Devil's Rock Publishing. Justin Fife is an audiobook narrator and voice actor, and he can be found on Threads at justin.fife. The Other Stories is a production of the Story Studio Hawk and Cleaver, and it's brought to you with a Creative Commons Attribution, no commercial, no derivatives license. That means don't change it, don't sell it, but by all means share the hell out of it. Until next time.